Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're entirely reframing a concept you probably thought you knew inside and out. We're taking love out of the greeting card aisle, we're stripping away all those tired cliches, and we're putting it directly under the microscope. We're going to explore love not just as some abstract, poetic feeling, but as a hard, measurable, biological asset, one that literally dictates how long and how well you live. Okay, let's dive right into this with a question you probably weren't expecting. How many times have you forced a smile today? Or maybe you casually tossed out a hollow "love you" on a quick digital message, or some professional exchange, you know the kind. We are currently living in an era of toxic positivity, where we're constantly pressured to maintain this fake, happy facade, totally regardless of our true emotional state. And as we're about to see, this manufactured relational warmth, it's actually a massive public health issue. To understand exactly why that is, we have to introduce a crucial framework developed by Professor Wagner Martinez, known as health capital. Now, health capital has absolutely nothing to do with the money in your bank account. It's a scientifically grounded way of evaluating how our emotional state and our social integration literally drive our physical and mental well-being. This framework takes that seemingly abstract idea of love and anchors it in measurable science, showing us exactly how connection builds our physiological reserves. But before we get to the good stuff, we have to look at the darker side of things. Section 1. The Fake Love Epidemic. Before we can really grasp how authentic love builds our health capital, we need to analyze the severe physiological damage caused by our culture's absolute obsession with superficial affirmations and forced positivity. So, on one hand, we have surface acting. Think of your polite, conventional fake smiles at the barista. It causes some mild autonomic arousal, sure, but it's socially understood as just a conventional greeting. It's pretty harmless. But on the other hand, we have toxic positivity, that fake relational warmth and the completely trivialized use of the word love. This is when you're forced to express insincere positive emotions while suppressing your genuine internal distress. And wow, this creates profound cognitive dissonance. It invalidates your real emotional needs, it fosters deep loneliness, and it completely starves you of true social bonding. And biologically, this fake warmth is a total disaster. Let's walk through this cascade, and let's do it quickly, because this happens incredibly fast in your body. Step 1, you suppress authentic distress. Step 2, that suppression instantly activates your HPA axis. That's your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Step 3, this actively elevates your cortisol and systemic inflammatory markers. Step 4, this accelerates your allostatic load, which is just the clinical term for profound neuroendocrine wear and tear. Faking positivity doesn't just feel exhausting, it actively, physically destroys your neuroendocrine system. Section 2. The biology of true love. Now, what's really interesting about this is if fake love destroys our neuroendocrine system, what does genuine connection actually do? Well, it completely shatters our cultural expectations. We're constantly taught that love is fireworks, right? A massive, dramatic, momentary emotional spike. But biologically, true love is a stable, homeostatic baseline. It's a profound feeling of psychological and spiritual fulfillment characterized by secure attachment and unconditional positive regard. It isn't some chaotic roller coaster. It's the solid, grounding baseline for your entire psyche. When you replace toxic positivity with true fulfillment, the physiological shifts are just beautifully profound. True fulfillment actively dampens your sympathetic nervous system reactivity. Basically, it quiets that exhausting fight-or-flight panic. It lowers your resting heart rate. It enhances your vagal nerve tone, directly signaling to your body that it is safe. And by doing all of this, it fosters deep physical recovery and psychological resilience. It is, quite literally, a healing state. Section 3. Beyond the romantic partner. We really need to break a massive societal myth here. This biological baseline is absolutely not an exclusive commodity reserved only for the special one or a romantic partner. Within a robust public health framework, love is an expansive, outward-flowing energy. Loving your relatives, friends, and your local community anchors your identity in mutual support networks. And this brilliantly illustrates how cultivating love for your work transforms your labor from a source of alienation into a vehicle of real, tangible contribution. Even a love for nature fosters ecological harmony. It's a universal expansion, extending to everything around you. Which leads perfectly to this really profound truth. If you have love inside you, you see beauty everywhere. When love fills your internal landscape, it fundamentally transforms your perception of reality. It replaces your brain's constant, exhausting vigilance and threat detection with aesthetic and emotional appreciation. You finally stop scanning the horizon for danger, and you start actually absorbing the beauty of your environment.
Section 4. The core pillar of happiness.
So, what does this all mean? How does exchanging this expansive love actually drive our well-being on a mechanical level? Well, it all comes down to our evolutionary wiring. Humans are obligate social organisms wired for co-regulation. We literally need each other to regulate our nervous systems. The mutual exchange of love, giving and receiving care, empathy, and solidarity, satisfies these incredibly fundamental human needs for belonging. And empirically, this exchange generates sustained subjective well-being that far exceeds any transient material acquisition. A new purchase fades away quickly. Mutual exchange sustains us.
Let's break down the literal neurochemical rewards of this exchange. When you engage in genuine relational bonding, it triggers a rush of oxytocin and endogenous opioids right in your brain. These chemicals act as a powerful, natural buffer against psychological pain. But even more incredibly, this reciprocal flow actively attenuates, meaning it dials down and completely turns off the fear circuitry in your amygdala. No way, right? True connection literally shuts down the fear centers in your brain.
Section 5. Compounding returns on capital.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the ultimate macro perspective of your life. Tying this all back to Professor Marcine's overarching concept, when authentic love is exchanged, it generates a compounding multiplier effect across every single dimension of your reality. Health capital expands because reducing chronic stress directly enhances your immune function. Social capital grows because expansive love builds dense, trusting networks that protect communities against systemic deprivation. And yes, even financial capital benefits. Individuals embedded in supportive, low-stress relational webs exhibit lower rates of stress-induced absenteeism, significantly better cognitive performance, and massively reduced healthcare utilization costs. Talk about a real game changer. And the ultimate compounding return here is longevity. Let's compare standard medical interventions alone with strong social integration and emotional fulfillment. Now, medical interventions are obviously crucial, absolutely, but decades of epidemiological data confirm that strong social integration significantly reduces all-cause mortality. Cultivating true emotional fulfillment extends your healthy life expectancy far beyond what standard medicine can achieve by itself. You simply cannot medicate your way out of profound emotional alienation.
So we leave you with this final provocative thought to ask yourself today. Are you building real health capital, or are you just faking another smile? The biology is undeniably clear on this. Your health, your longevity, and your ability to thrive depend entirely on how you answer that question. Thank you for joining this explainer, and we'll see you next time.